called the Formula Hooligan podcast. And I guess we can just start off with that. What's up? It's the Formula Hooligan podcast, episode 6, I think. I'm Alex Gomes. You are?
Hosey Charlie.
Sure. And returning.
I don't know why I always throw my hands up when I say my name. It's kind of weird. But anyway.
And returning for the podcast, we have... Whoever wants to go first.
Kieran and Rick.
All right, and...
Rick Brown.
Excellent.
I'm sure everybody forgot from last week.
Yeah.
Hey, what is
I
this
know.
now anyway? Podcast 6?
That's what I said, and I believe that's correct.
That's good. We haven't been canceled yet. That's good. Viewership is up to 11 subscribers.
You know what? We do like a steady 50 viewers per episode.
That's
not
really good.
Terrible.
If we hit 100, I'll buy you a pizza.
All right.
How about that?
That's setting the
Big
bar kind
spender.
of low, but all right.
I'll buy your beer too.
All right, pizza, beer. Yeah,
There
free
we go.
night
Yeah.
of all that. That works out. Yeah, so we have Kieran and Rick back because this episode is dedicated to the Indy 500 once again, except now it's happened. So now we got to talk about it.
Yeah. So Danica
yeah.
Patrick didn't win.
No, because she didn't
Thank
enter.
God.
She's not racing anymore?
And she managed to not junk the pace car, so I call that a win in my book.
Oh,
Call it
there
career
you go.
win number
There you
2
go.
for the-
You know,
Danica
that
Patrick.
was a loss for IndyCar,
Anaconda.
though. You know what's funny? I used to watch more back when Danica Patrick was in it because she was attractive. And I'm like, I see attractive girl, I turn on and I watch. But she sucked. She even sucks talking about it. No, she sucks.
She
does.
didn't.
No,
She
no,
won a
you
race.
guys need to educate
She
him
didn't
on.
win.
No,
She
she
actually
won a race. She won
yes,
a race.
I understand.
Fine, so she's better than Anna Kournikova. But did she actually lead the Indy 500 at one point? She did, didn't she?
Yes.
Yeah.
She led a few laps, like her very first year, and then she
But-
was pretty much forgettable every year after that.
How funny
She
is
ran-
it,
I
though,
think
when
she
you
ran,
get
like 4 or
introduced?
5 of them total.
But she got introduced when she was commentating, like, Danica Patrick, who led the Indy 500. It's just kind of like,
Yeah, they got to give her the accolades, the highest one they
Yeah,
can think
it's-
of at the time, you know.
Well, yeah, it's like whenever she got announced at NASCAR, oh, Danica Patrick, the 2013 Daytona 500 pole sitter,
yeah,
because she
bullshit.
never did anything worth a shit.
Yeah, she's
She
a pole
finished
sitter, all right.
She finished 30th or worse more than I think probably anybody that wasn't a start and park car for most of their career.
Oh, my God.
I think she almost has as many 30th or worse finishes as Joe Nemechek and Dave Blaney, who both are notorious for driving for start and park teams.
Jesus Christ.
But was it
Hey, not for
you know?
not-
But you were just talking about Lewis Hamilton having the best Formula One car. Did she just have a really shitty car?
No.
He
That
was
was no
driving
problem.
for Stuart Haas.
Yeah, Stuart Haas won championships while she was driving. No, did they?
Yeah. Yes, they did.
2011 was a championship for Tony. I know. Was she around for 2011?
Kevin Harvick won. Kevin Harvick won.
Oh, you're right. You're right. Yes, you are correct.
While we're on the subject,
Came out of
though,
the same stable. No excuses.
What's the female's name? I can't think of it right now. That did run the Indy 500 this year.
There was none. I
Simona
don't
Di
believe.
Silvestro.
Oh, no, there
Yeah,
was
Simona Di Silvestro.
Yeah.
It's an almost all-woman
Yep.
team.
Yeah.
The Beth Peretta Autosport team. They had. I think they had a couple male, one or two male engineers from Penske, and I think two tire changers were men.
Yep.
But I do believe that they were the first female tire changers in the in the history.
Really?
Yeah, leave it to the racing to get it right. Have the women change the tires and the men go out and run the car.
Stop it.
Sorry.
No, she ran the car too. There was a woman
it's a girl
driver.
driving too.
Yeah. Jesus Christ, Charles.
Women working together, brother.
Yep.
We got to think forward. It's 2021.
That's right. That's right. So, yeah, let's give the race a good dude, all right, so it's the first Indy 500 that I've sat down and watched in a while. And mostly due to, last time's episode. You guys talking about it, the history about it, and me watching the Fast 9 for qualifying, and it did get me amped up for it. And I got to say, this year's race did not disappoint at all. It was pretty awesome, pretty incredible.
It was unreal.
It was, and we can easily go to why, because of who won and just the whole history of that win and everything else. But it was action throughout that, like, it was never guaranteed who's going to win. And I'm assuming, every Indy 500 is like that because you do have the constant lead changes and whatnot. But like even this one, it seemed like certain teams which is kind of cool to see. Had control over the race at a certain time. What were was it the Ed Carpenter cars that were controlling the race for a while? It was Renus
he built
VK.
Daly and VK.
rockets. Yeah. The Ed Carpenter cars were rockets, dude. I mean, Connor Daly took the lead before the halfway point of the race, probably super early. It was like lap 30 something. I feel like I could be wrong,
Yeah.
but Connor Daly took the lead, and I swear to God, I haven't heard that place go that crazy since the last time Tony Kanaan took the lead out there. It was
Sure.
insane, dude.
Yeah, I know you were
And
there,
he was-
Kieran,
dude,
but
he
you could
honestly-
hear that.
You could
You could
feel
hear
it.
that on TV.
Yeah, you could
Oh,
hear
yeah.
it on TV. Yeah. Yeah, I failed to mention that. Kieran, you were actually there, which is a pretty awesome.
I sat up in turn 4 with my old man. My dad got to come back from the Philippines for the first time since COVID began. It's the
Holy
first time
crap.
I'd seen him since Thanksgiving 2019. Yeah, he was out there for a minute.
Wow.
It was the first time I'd seen him since Thanksgiving 2019, and we had a great time. We got treated to arguably one of the best races I've seen in my 17 Indianapolis 500s that I've been to.
I believe it.
And I give it, I would give that race 12 out of 10 lug nuts.
I like that voting system.
Well, it's 2 more than what's his name got.
Oh.
Murray Hall, like we were talking
yeah,
about.
we were just saying, yeah. Did you take him to the pit? More importantly, did you take him to the snake pit or whatever the hell you were calling it?
They didn't have a snake pit this year. They actually didn't do.
Oh.
They didn't do the post-race garage access like they do every year.
Yeah.
They didn't have the rave in the snake pit, which was nice actually because when you're having a couple beers under the sun, the last thing you want to hear is some thumping bass over the sound of some race cars. The pyrotechnics were cool, but it's all a distraction. It was, as far as a racing experience goes, it was probably the best one I've been to since I first started going to them.
I didn't notice.
No.
Oh, it was supposed to be 40%, but that place seats 235,000, and they sold 135,000 tickets. So you do the math; that's more than 40%.
Still have 6 digits worth of people, which is incredible.
It was a shit. I mean, you look at those grandstands, man. I couldn't tell any difference. I had a little bit more leg room. There was some spots in turn 3 and 4 that were a little more open than the rest, but for the most part, it was just another Indy 500 to me.
Well, a hell of an Indy 500, I'm sure. Like you were saying, one of the best
Yeah.
ones you've seen. Now, like I was saying, it was really cool to see the Ed Carpenter cars kind of take the lead and control the race for a little bit. Because I thought, previous Indy 500s that I've paid attention to, it's like somebody takes a lead, and it's kind of like every 5 laps or so, somebody else can take the lead. But here, this race didn't work out like that. And actually, one of the things that I found to be interesting, I think the first run wasn't controlled by a team; it was controlled by a driver, and it's. I'm failing to remember who it was.
Colton Herta, I believe.
Who was it?
I think it was either Colton Herta or Renus VK.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I want
the
to say
two of those
Herta.
guys were out
I want to
front
say
at
Herta,
first.
but the interesting
I
thing
know Herta
was
led the first lap.
yes, yeah, yep. The interesting thing is like they're talking about fuel strategy because refueling is definitely a thing in IndyCar, and
As it should
I was
be.
kind of thinking, and I remember texting, I think Rick, I had a text group going with Rick and Rich Hemingway there. But I asked, so is the leader basically screwed because he'll burn all his fuel as compared to the other guys that can just take it easy behind him? Because it's kind of a
lead
pack
too soon,
race.
then.
It's not really a pack race. It's kind of like a line because pack racing wouldn't work around single line corners like Indianapolis has.
Yeah.
But I was just thinking, isn't the leader basically screwed? Why would you want to lead? And then the announcers or the commentators kind of talked about how they basically figure out in those early runs how their car handles and how it will burn off fuel in clean air as opposed to drafting.
Yeah,
So
they're
I guess,
checking fuel mileage and seeing how it feels to lead because your air on your wings is going to be different if you're leading or if you're in second. So they're trying to get a feel for it, but then they're also just shuffling back and saving gas. So it's just a game for the first 150 laps.
And dirty air
Sure.
at Indy is nothing to fuck with.
Right. So yeah, that was interesting to see play out. And then during the first group of pit stops, we had our first caution. I don't remember the guy's name. He's not one of the bigger names, but this happened a few times during the race.
He's Justin Wilson's little brother, Stefan Wilson.
You
driving
know what?
for
When
Andretti
they did
Autosport.
say it was Stefan Wilson, I was thinking, is there any relation to Justin? I was thinking
Yes.
that.
His brother.
Gotcha.
Yep,
So
he was
yeah,
running- he was running
he basically
Justin's old
looped
car.
it. What's this now?
He was running Justin's old car and car
no
number for
way.
the same team. Yeah, no, it's cool. Andretti and Stefan Wilson have a good relationship.
Oh, that is pretty.
He almost
brilliant.
won the race for them. He almost won the race for them back in 2018. He was 3 laps shy on fuel. He was leading. He led the final restart.
No way.
Yeah.
Well,
the only unfortunate part though was on the restart. It was pretty much you need a caution or you're coming in. But hey, what are you gonna do? Kind of Sato did that this last race too. They were just driving around hoping to have a caution and make it.
Right.
That's
and
part of the game.
Didn't Dixon basically have a caution reliant strategy going as well because of his early troubles?
He was working his way back up. If he had got a caution, he might have made the top 10 there from 2 laps. Was he 2 laps down? 1 lap down, I think. He was.
I think him
2
and
laps
Rossi
down.
both.
He ended up getting a lucky
too.
yellow and got back to 1 lap down, and then unlapped himself. I think he stayed out during a yellow or something like that.
Gotcha. Now
him and Rossi got down early.
Right, there is no lucky dog in IndyCar, correct? You have to work your way back.
There is not. Yeah, you got to do it the hard way.
Right. So yeah, the initial crash happens with Stefan, which sucked, and it was kind of like. Maybe you guys can explain it to me better because it happened to multiple drivers throughout the race, both veterans and rookies, where guys were just looping it coming into the pits. And they were saying it's because they had no brake pressure coming in. And I didn't think you used the brakes really while you're racing, so why would you lose brake pressure? Is it because the pads aren't at the discs yet and they're not pumping them before they come in?
Well, so
I
what
read
it is
today that they actually had. Did you read it? They set up the brake pads to actually push back off of the disc so that they would have less rolling resistance in the race.
Makes sense. Yes.
Yeah, they ran their it's a trick system that they put in for qualifying to keep the like Chris was saying, Rick, excuse me, God, I've got everyone's names all mixed up. Like Rick was saying, they have a system for the brakes. They're sprung. They hold the pads away from the rotor. There's no rolling resistance, so the car goes faster. And some teams elected to run it for the race, being that it's a super speedway and you don't use your brakes a whole lot other than pitting. But that being the case, you got no pedal coming into the pits, so they're pumping it up, and then they got too much pedal, and then you have what happened.
Right. And I guess it's not too surprising that they lock up the rears, because I guess if you were using the brakes on the track, you would want a little bit of rear kick to kind of help rotate, I would think.
Oh yeah, it's just like dirt racing. I mean, you got one big ass rotor in the back and a smaller one on the left front, and it helps if you drag the brakes a little bit. It helps the car rotate.
Right. Oh,
especially in traffic at Indy. I mean, that's key.
Right. I gotta make one video adjustment. Hold on, folks. You guys can talk amongst yourselves.
He's just squirming. He's got to take a. Never mind.
I spent all day trying to figure out how to make that fucking brake pad system work on my World Formula for the fucking road races. I'm gonna spring my pads out too.
Yeah,
my pads are like that.
I
need to get you guys set up with my brake system.
You want to do
but
that.
You don't have work with you guys. Never mind.
It would on one track. We don't really use the brakes on one track.
No.
Yeah, but you'd need to run an 1 1/4 axle, and it's just not gonna work.
Yeah.
All right. Video is good now. Yeah, so all right, that's a good explanation as to why the spins were happening there. So after that caution, actually we should say during the caution, we should explain the whole thing that went on with Rossi and Dixon there. Dixon suffered from vapor lock in the fuel
What is that?
And what did Rossi suffer
ran it
from?
out of
Was it
gas.
the same thing?
I'm pretty sure.
So vapor lock is something I didn't know existed up until the weekend that I watched this. And I was talking to my father. He explained it to me. It's really interesting. It's like
so there's too much negative pressure in the gas tank that it doesn't allow fuel to get to the engine.
And that happens when you basically just have vapor going through the lines and no fuel.
Mm-hmm.
Yes,
right.
Or the fuel. So we had a vapor lock issue a couple years ago driving from my dad had a Jaguar V12 that we drove from Rhode Island to Florida. Long story short, it blew up in Georgia. But
no.
Basically, we struggled with vapor lock on that trip because we lost the AC compressor, and with those big V12 motors Jaguar built, they have an in-out line for the fuel. So whatever fuel doesn't get burned gets pumped back to the fuel tank, and it goes through the engine block, and it's hot. So if the AC cooler's out, it can't cool the fuel back down. Hot fuel gets pumped to the fuel tank, and basically that's what your fuel expands, and you got the negative pressure, and it just doesn't allow fuel to suck to the engine.
Oh, that's
So
that's
what's
nuts.
the solution then? Just wait it out until you're.
That's
Back to
that's kind of what they had to do. They lost a lap, didn't they?
Well, I was
they
talking
lost a
about your
lap.
Jaguar situation there, but yeah.
That's another story for another time. That was a hell of a trip.
That's your sorry you bought a Jaguar, I guess.
You'll have that in big time auto racing.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So after this caution, when they got restarted, and now Scott Dixon and Rossi, I know you guys said they were down one line. I think it was 2, right? Weren't they both down 2?
No, they
They're
were
definitely
down
down
1 at that point.
Okay. All right. And then when they restarted, they kind of agreed to work with each other to try to get back and get their lap back. We didn't really see much progress throughout the race about them going forward, only because like the top 10 battle was insane the whole time. That's where all the action was.
Yeah, there's no point. Nobody gave a shit about them.
No. Nobody gave a shit at all. It was basically, are you in the top 10? That's who's going to get on TV. Nobody else matters. And that's when we saw the Ed Carpenter cars together work and trade first and second place to help each other save fuel every 5 laps or whatever it was. I loved that. That was so cool to see, because now it's like you're defeating the whole detriment of being out front. It's like, well, if we share being out front, then we can kind of work against the system. And maybe when we come into pit, the guys behind us will pit either the same lap or only 1 lap later, as opposed to, I believe, when the first round of pit stops happened, I forgot his name already. Christ.
BK.
Well, whoever
VK.
was in the lead in the first stint.
Renus VK.
Yeah. He came in, and I think the second place and back didn't come in.
Car.
Yes. Second place and back didn't come in for like 2 laps. So there's a 2-lap advantage you're already making up. So by now, these two guys, switching off, they're trying to go against that and make it so it's either the same lap or 1 lap back. I love that. I loved watching that. And that kind of remained throughout the whole race. If I remember correctly, I believe the 2 of them basically controlled the race, even through the second caution, correct?
Yeah, it was like through the whole middle of the race they were doing that. Unfortunately, it wasn't for the last quarter of the race for them, but,
No, the wheels fell off the bus at the end there.
It doesn't matter who leads 99% of the race. You got to lead that last one.
You got to ask Dan Weldon, man. Or, you can't, but Dan Weldon
Oh, God. Oh, no.
He won the one. I'm not cracking jokes, man. I was in Las Vegas that day, and it was a bad deal. But
yeah,
he only led 1 lap in the 2011 Indy 500, and it was the one that mattered.
He only led
the last 100 yards
straight away.
Yeah, barely. Like he won like the last little before the start finish line. So much so that Panther Racing protested the finish and said that he passed under caution, even though their car was the caution.
Yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, we did have. I mean, this race was incredibly clean. I got to tell you, there were no on-track accidents. If you think about it, all the accidents were either pit bloopers or pit crew mistakes.
Brakes. Yeah.
Yep.
Because the second caution
that carried up on the racetrack.
Yeah, the second caution was Graham Rahall's wheel coming off as he was exiting the pits between 1 and 2, and he shot up the racetrack.
200 yards down the.
Yeah, and I can't think of Mullet Kid's name. Christ.
Right, but it's amazing that
Connor Daly.
Connor Daly. Yep.
His nose stayed intact.
It did, but I'm sure he had aero damage.
It didn't look
just
like it.
enough.
Oh yeah, and honestly, that was infuriating because they got a caution. Like you got a caution, and they left him out there because they were like, "Oh, it'll be fine." So they could have brought him in and put the good nose wing on, and gone back out and been in contention for the win. They could have patched that car up and been right there. But they decided, no, we don't want to surrender the track position. So they willingly accepted the aerodynamic deficiency and lost the track position anyways.
Yeah, that's. I mean,
they
it's
had
a risk.
They had a winning car. Connor Daly should be pissed.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Yeah,
but VK
really
kind of went away too. Once they didn't have each other, they kind of went off.
Yeah, they were screwed.
Right, I do remember that happening. After that point, you didn't really see the Ed Carpenter cars anymore. They kind of, I mean, they were there. They hung around like 5th place, but it wasn't like now they're doing their whole trade for the lead and looking like contenders anymore.
Right. Yeah, that was over at that point.
Right. So, yeah, after that caution, the race kind of changed attitudes. And it's so funny because Helio just kind of stayed up there the entire race. And did he lead previously? before he took
Yes,
the
he
lead?
did.
He led a little bit here and there, but not
I think
much.
he led mostly after the halfway point. He would lead like before pit stops and after the halfway point. And I remember actually standing in line. Like the concessions were stupid. They didn't know there's cashless this year at IMS, so the concession lines were. I remember it was like lap 120. I'm watching on my phone on Hulu, and the lady I'm talking about it with the lady behind me. I was like, Haley hasn't looked like that around here in a long time. This is probably his day.
Yep. I mean, the commentators are pumping it up like it was going to be his day.
Oh yeah,
they kind of gambled on it being his day.
Yeah, why is
they've been wanting to see him become a 4-time winner for a while.
What's the appeal of this guy? Why is he?
Well, beyond me knowing that like he's a really nice dude, nobody really hates him. I'm sure you guys can explain more of the fandom behind the guy.
So
he's just always all smiles. He's always happy as can be. The guy's hilarious.
Yeah.
So when Helio won his first race in kart, way back, I think it was like 2000, maybe 2001.
Yeah, right around the Stallone movie that came out then. Yep.
Yes, that awful movie that shall not be spoken of again. He won at Belle Isle, and that was kart was cracking down on victory celebrations, and they didn't want the drivers showboating or doing donuts or anything like that. But he was 25 years old. He won his first race in America, and he was so overcome with emotion, he got out of the car at the start finish line and climbed the fence and cheered with the fans. And he got a $6,000 fine for it, and I guess the fans loved it so much that when he went to pay it, they tore the check up. So
wow.
And that's stuck. I mean, he won the Indy 500, climbed the fence. Won it again, climbed the fence.
Yep.
Won it again after getting acquitted of being a tax evader, climbed the fence.
Huh.
That's his thing.
I figured that's where it came from when I saw him do it.
Yeah.
But I was like, man,
was
that looks
crazy.
really dangerous,
Yeah.
Probably more so than COVID.
Yeah, I was thinking like, good thing this isn't a construction site. This is not an OSHA approved move right here.
Yeah, part of me was like thinking Jurassic Park too, like it's an electric fence and it's gonna start fucking frying him in any minute.
Yeah, so I mean, we are leading to that. Helio did win this year's race, and I gotta tell you,
Spoiler
man,
alert.
What's this?
Not
I
too
said
happy.
spoiler alert.
Yeah,
spoiler
exactly. Yeah,
alert.
well, that's why you listen to
It
this
happened
episode.
like 2 weeks ago at this point, so what the hell? And by the time
why?
Alex gets this posted, it'll be 3 weeks ago. So.
Hey, have more faith in me, huh? I have to deal with a lot of shit to put this thing together.
Yeah, it's all right. I know.
Yeah, so Helio won the race, dude, and I gotta tell you, like, yeah, I mean, the whole race had action throughout, but the way it finished, where he passes for the lead, crossing the line for 2 laps to go, he holds it on. The crowd, like we were telling you, Kieran, you could hear the crowd on the TV, broadcast, and you were there, so I can only imagine how it was with you being there, dude.
Oh,
I haven't heard a crowd like that be so excited in motorsport since when I told Rick this.
Since Ford beat Ferrari.
I wasn't there. I wasn't watching those races. Come on. Basically, I haven't heard a crowd that excited since when Dale Jr. used to win at like Talladega. That's the last time I can remember a crowd, me watching a race, a crowd being like ecstatic, so excited. Yeah, you can hear it over the cars.
And that was 40% capacity.
I know. That's what's incredible. And just like...
Yeah, imagine if that had been a packed house. They would have had that place, there would have been riots. Porta shitters would have been on fire.
Yeah, maybe so, man.
Up then. There should have been.
I mean, dude, it was special in the moment to see that happening, dude. And like, especially all the celebration afterwards and how like, I saw Will Power come up and congratulate him, and many other drivers and crew members of crews that he's not a part of, and just like the utmost love for the guy, and the crowd screaming the entire time that he's getting congratulated by everybody. Just like, it was incredible to see.
But answer me this: do they not do blue flags? Like, what was going on with the lap traffic? Why didn't they move out of the way?
They weren't a lap down yet.
Yeah, no, I mean it's not like they're gonna get a yellow and get their lap back. I mean, it's 2 to go.
No,
if you did get a yellow,
like
the race is gonna end under
they're pretty
it.
strict about any blue flag. I mean, you have to literally move out of the driving line. But the last
that
lap there,
sounds about right for Formula One.
Yeah,
because
We need you to move over.
Formula
Move
One's,
over. We need to get the leaders by.
yeah. So you're allowed to defend your lap. in IndyCar.
In oval, yeah, you don't have to move over until you're actually a lap down because
Gotcha.
you're not a lap down
cars
at
have
that
rights
point.
too.
Lap cars have rights. I gotcha.
Yes,
Okay.
lap cars have rights too.
Lap cars matter.
Yeah, I like it. Let's make the shirts. And by the way, you know what's funny? Remember last podcast? We're like, we're gonna get shirts and we're gonna get all this cool shit, and
One step at a time.
yeah, we'll get there.
Baby
Basically-
steps.
But wait,
Baby
I like
steps.
this one. Let's. I think we need a shirt with a slogan on it. So like, lapped cars lives matter. I like it.
No, don't poke that bear.
We'll
get
have to
canceled.
reword it a little differently. Maybe.
Yeah.
How about just
Lap
lapped
cars have
cars
rights.
matter?
Ask Newport Propane what they think about it first.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
We'll just put a
Yeah.
rainbow flag on it. We'll be good.
Thanks to Newport Propane for their continued support and sponsorship of the
Hey.
Formula Hooligan podcast.
Yes.
The wheels
Cheers
are coming
to Newport
off tonight.
Propane.
I don't know. I'm debating right now whether or not I want to do the censorship anymore. We were talking about this before the podcast.
No.
The only reason I do the censorship is so that family members don't hear me say words. It's only like 1 or 2 words. It's pretty lame. I don't know. I don't think we're gonna lose anybody if I don't do
I think the only
censorship.
words we've said wrong is.
Yeah.
So guys, let's just say as much as we can. So
No.
Alex is gonna have such a fucking hard time editing this later.
How dare you?
You're gonna blow his mind.
Who the do you think you are?
I don't know. When are we gonna talk about karting again?
Eventually, I have more thoughts on.
I wasn't there anyway, so who the cares? And neither
I
do
have
you.
karting stories. I have a karting story for you guys when
Oh,
we get
all
to
right,
it.
let's hear it.
I guess we'll just dive into
Sorry,
it.
I wish I
well,
had a cool
basically,
transition into that. There you go.
Yeah, I guess
Yeah,
we've basically wrapped up the
yeah.
Indy 500,
Well,
right?
we'll go back into Indy. Let's hear. I want to
Yeah.
talk about karting now.
All right, yeah. Let's hear your karting
Yeah.
story here, Kieran.
He's getting bored. Too much Indy
Yes.
So Monday after the Indy 500, my dad and I we stayed with a guy when we got to Indy. His name's Vincent Schneider, and the guy he's a karter in Indiana. He has a shifter kart that he runs. It's got a Honda 120 CR 125 on it.
Oh.
It's
shit.
it's a Zanardi. Yeah, it's a Zanardi chassis
Yep,
with a Honda CR 125 on it, and 6 gears. Races at Newcastle pretty regularly. Has a garage out there. Well, we get out there, and he called me about a couple days before I left and was like, "Hey, so bring your helmet and your suit. I'm going to put you in my car at Newcastle and give you some laps." And I've never driven a shifter kart before,
Holy.
so naturally, I was like, "Fuck yeah, let's do it." So I trucked my gear bag out there with a helmet and a fire suit in it and all the rest of my shit. And I gotta say, man, those things are way faster than I thought they would be.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was crazy shit. And I do have I have some GoPro footage that if you guys want to, I'll send it to you.
I
You can
have
include it
seen
later
one
on,
lap,
whatever.
yes.
Yeah, maybe we
If
can
not,
edit it in.
Maybe.
yeah, it was. But man, I only got about 10 laps in it, and then Vince got back in it, and he had a ceramic brake rotor on the rear axle, and that thing shattered. $650. Cha-ching.
So is that
I got
user
one
error?
set.
Was it user error? What happened?
I don't know. He spun out his first set out, and then I got in the car, and then he got back in the car, and the brake rotor exploded. So I'm kind of convinced the guy just ran a black cat or something over on the way to the track that day. It's just it's misfortune. It's like I always say, it's racing. Shit happens. But I did get him talked into putting a steel rotor on that thing for the next time he goes out. So hopefully he doesn't have that problem again.
I didn't know they made
Yeah.
ceramic rotors.
Yeah,
That's
not
kinda
for
crazy.
that.
My
Well,
Yeah, I
shifter's
was-
got full ceramics.
I was Monday years old when I found out they ran ceramic rotors in asphalt kart.
huh?
Yeah,
Gotcha.
my shifter's all ceramics all the way around.
Really?
Yeah, thing stops f***ing like that.
It stopped on a dime. I will say I wasn't very bold on the brakes, and I have some really nasty shifting habits for it being a stick shift, or not, basically a stick shift. So
Yeah.
every time I'd grab a gear, if you look at the video and you watch my brake foot, I'm going for the clutch.
Oh yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, I'm
Yep.
going
Well,
for the
so
clutch.
wait, hold
I'm
on.
going
I've
for
never
a clutch
driven a
that's not
shifter,
there.
but you have to lift on the upshift.
Correct.
Yes.
Yeah.
I found that out too.
So it's got to be a little.
It's so hard to keep up with the shifts. I mean,
but it's got to be odd too.
Shifting.
I mean, your left foot's stationary. You just got to lift quickly, upshift. But on downshifts, you're just banging down through it.
Bang, 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 bang. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just banging the gears down in that thing. It's like 4 downshifts for the
hairpin,
and then.
Yeah, I'm not familiar. That would be awkward to me if it was like a paddle shifter because it's just.
You never ridden a motorcycle? You can do the same shit with a motorcycle.
Dude, I've driven a motorbike once and I crashed, so I'm not doing the bike thing anymore. But no,
I actually didn't mind having the handle there because it's I thought it would be harder because I asked him too. I was like, nobody has paddle shifters for these things,
right?
And
so wait,
some people do, but I guess the system costs like $1,000.
And I've heard it's not fast. I've heard it's actually got a bit of lag to it. It's not.
So you can
not intuitive.
have paddles though.
Yes. If you ever went to F1 Boston and looked at the shifter cart that was on site there, it had the paddles. RJ had one with paddles. But like I said, evidently they're not quick, not very intuitive. It's better to just have the lever.
So it's like a first-gen Ferrari paddle shifter type thing.
I guess. I don't see it getting better enough to where it would replace the shaft. It's mechanical. The shaft is mechanical. Why would you want that?
It's a steel rod on a Heim that connects directly to the motor.
Hold on. But I gotta ask the obvious question here is like, I can't imagine though turning, taking my hand off the wheel, and shifting at the same time.
Why are you shifting mid-corner?
You don't even notice it.
Really?
Yeah, it's an afterthought.
Well, it's also
because by then when you start grabbing gears again, you've already got the car rotated and you're coming off the corner unwinding anyhow.
Yeah, and it's also right there. It's not like a car.
Yeah,
you're not like know what I mean.
Yeah, you're literally just reaching forward like an inch.
Yeah, like if my hands are here, the shifter was here.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
It was right there. Like I literally I could shift with 2 fingers almost.
Alex, you've never been in a shifter, right?
3 times.
Oh, you have?
Yes.
I don't know why I didn't know that.
Josh Dennis bought a shifter and I tried that out for a second. And then no, it must be twice. So I tried out Josh's shifter cart for a hot second, and that was a lot of fun. And then I tried out Brad Danoff's shifter at Club Motorsport. That experience wasn't as good as it could have been because that was the end of last year. I was pretty like physically weak at the time. I've actually been doing like body exercises and shit over the winter to be strong enough for Rotax because fatigue has been my biggest problem when it comes to racing something faster. So basically, I was racing a 2-stroke all day at Club just doing testing sessions. And by the time I jumped in his shifter, I was so weak that I remember coming around the start-finish line, which isn't a straight. It's kind of like this gradual left. And like the car started oversteering. And then when I went to catch it, it, caught. But then I didn't have the strength to now recorrect to keep going straight. And I just went off in the grass. And I was just like, this sucks. Like I can't hold on to this. I'm holding on for dear life just to hold myself in the cart, and I'm not driving it. And that's what led me to just flinging into the grass, and it sucked. So, next time I drive a shifter cart, hopefully I have the strength to just keep it up and actually have fun with it instead of just holding on for dear life. And it also doesn't help that, like, basically every cart I drive except for the ones that I own and the seats that I buy for them are too big for me. I just flail around in a seat. So that doesn't help. But shifter carts, when you can concentrate on them and drive them, are insanely fun. And you should take anytime what I tell everybody is that if you're given the opportunity to drive a shifter cart, do not hesitate whatsoever. Just do it. Just go for it.
Yeah.
Yeah, my first shifter race was the same day as I ran a World Formula and the shifter the same day at Canaan. I ran 2 classes, and that was bad. By the end of the shifter race, coming onto the front stretch, you had to get down to second. There was some day at times I was just like, third's good. That'll work here from now on. We'll just keep going.
I can definitely see that, dude. It takes a lot out of you. So my buddy Josh, I drove his shifter car as my first experience. He did a test day at New Hampshire Motor Speedway, and it was in 2015, and they weren't doing the chicane that we do on the access roads, believe it or not. It was just straight through. And then you jump onto the road course bit.
Was he on like the oval road course, the Roval?
No, what they do is they the sports car course that goes out the back of the track?
Like out of the back straight?
Yeah, out of the back straight. Yep.
Okay. Yeah.
So there's the
I played
sports
that
car
once or
course
twice on
out the
R
back
Factor.
there. What's this now?
I said I played that once or twice on R Factor.
Okay, it's also an iRacing if you ever want to get
It
a
is
shot.
on there?
Yep.
The New Hampshire. Oh, it is on iRacing, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
I
You
didn't know
can
that.
you can do the road course in iRacing. They use that section. It's the bowl. You know, it goes downhill. It's a cambered left, and then you come back up the hill. They use that section of the sports car course, and then you also kind of exit stage right to go to like the access roads that people use to camp for the NASCAR races, basically, and
Camping road
make
is what
a.
we race on.
Oh dear.
Terrible.
Yeah, it is pretty terrible. It's bumpy as shit. I mean, it's what we got to work with, and they've made it better in the past few years
Why
because
your seat broke?
yeah, oh, it definitely is. We'll get to that in a second. Yeah, so it's access roads, and then they share a bit of the road course that the sports car use, or motorcycles, whatever races there on the road course, and that's what they make a go-kart track out of. So there's a chicane in the access roads bit that we use. It's basically just a crossover from one road to the other, make a nice little 90-90 chicane out of it. And they weren't running that. So basically it was just like one super long straight, come back onto the road course and take those nice gentle corners and come back. And I remember I was talking to Josh, at a bar the week before he was going to go test at F1 Outdoors. And I was telling him, I was like, hey, look, I know NHMS was really bumpy and really rough to deal with, but I'm telling you, dude, the G-forces at F1 Outdoors are going to kill you. He's like, no, bumps. That's what gets you. It's not the G-forces. I'm like, all right. And then I'm at the same bar with him a week later on a Monday. And I was like, so how did your test session go out at X1? And he's like, dude, I couldn't make the day. I'm like, yeah. Why? Why was it? He's like, dude, I felt like my ribs were going to break as I was coming around that fountain corner, having to take my hand off the wheel to reach for a gear. I couldn't do it. He's like, I had to quit halfway through. I'm like, what did I tell you? The G-forces are what get you, dude. It's not the bumps. It's getting shoved into a seat.
Is the fountain corner that bank corner at
It's
the end
not
of the
the bank corner.
straightaway?
No, the fountain corner is actually a very long, kind of off camber.
You're gonna pull more G's on the banked corner though.
You're gonna pull more G's in the bank corner, but it's quick. Whereas the fountain corner will
way
last
faster.
The fountain corner is just abuse the whole way through it.
Yes,
And you
correct.
also have a sketchy feeling, I'm sure, in a shifter cart there.
Well, like he said, he had to let go with one of his hands to shift a gear through
But
it.
not even that. I'm just saying you're on the limit.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
It's
It's
not
not
like
like you're getting pressed into the ground like the banked
Right.
corner where it's just like all the grip in the
Right.
world. It's definitely,
Exactly.
like I said, I think it is. If it's not flat, it's slightly off
They
camber.
must have to lift. Must.
Shifter will, shifters.
shifters definitely
Shifters would
lift.
probably have to lift through that.
Yeah.
But yeah, the shifters are brutal, man. They're brutal, but like I said, if you can rang it in, it is so much fun. It is incredible. It's an amazing driving experience.
Yeah.
As
No, I
we all
agree.
know now,
I
except for the
definitely
car.
recommend it.
Yeah, I know. I feel odd man out. They look jerky at times, though. Some of the guys out there, but the ones that are like really up at the front, they're so smooth. But it's got to be hard to be smooth with it.
Oh,
it's just
yeah.
gonna be practice.
So aggressive.
Yeah. It's a different
drove
kind of
the one
smooth.
The one I drove felt like it was towed in. Like I mean, as you guys know, I'm a dirt guy, so I'm used to
Right.
flinging my shit into the corner. And I mean, I would come over I came over a couple corners, like an off camber corner, and like I felt like I was shaking maracas coming over the crest there, and it was just tough, man. Those things are twitchy. It was. I'd love to get more laps in it. And actually, Vince offered me an opportunity to go back later this summer and possibly, go run a race out there.
Yeah, you were telling
So
me that
I
over the
think
phone. Yeah,
I think I'm gonna take him up on that.
you should.
If nothing
dude.
else, just for the experience.
Hell
I mean,
yeah.
I would definitely love to get one just to have even if I didn't get to. I don't like racing out here on the asphalt because I have a better time on the dirt. But just to have one to go run around, let's say for example the Davis kart track on a Sunday is for a trainer. I mean,
Sure.
there's no time like seat time. Am I right?
That's right. There is no time like seat time. You are absolutely correct.
Unless it's Miller time, but you're drinking a Coors, so.
This episode of the Formula Hooligan podcast is brought to you by Newport Propane.
Wait. Now, Alex, does anyone even use propane anymore?
Do you live under a rock, Charles?
Well, I know you can grill with it.
Uh-huh.
But can you cook on the stove with it?
Yes.
Heat the house with it?
Of course.
Warm up the pool?
Mm-hmm.
Fuel my flamethrower so I can melt snow with it?
All right, slow down, Charles.
Well, what about when the lights go out?
A propane generator will do you right.
Okay. So who would I talk to if I want propane in my house?
Newport Propane, of course. They've been family-owned and operated for over 60 years now, so I'd say they know a thing or two about propane installation and delivery. Not to mention, they'll come out and give you a free estimate on any propane systems you're thinking about adding to your home.
Sounds good to me. How do I get in touch with them?
You can call them at 401-847-6878 or visit them online at newportpropane.com. That's 401-847-6878 or newportpropane.com. Newport Propane, proudly serving the Rhode Island area for over 60 years. Speaking of no seat time, Charlie, there was a race last weekend that we had at the
there was a
NHKA.
race. Let's hear all about it.
Yeah. Charlie, how did your race go?
I was a DNF.
You were a DNS. Not even did not
DNS.
start, did not show.
Did not show.
Yeah.
It didn't show.
It was raining.
You hit the ice
No.
just a little too hard or what?
No, the rain had nothing to do with it. It's a holiday weekend. I was going to go to Nantucket.
He had
That
plans.
got canceled because of the weather.
Yeah.
And then I ended up left with nothing. So I had a weekend.
You went to a Celtics game. I don't think that entirely makes up for it, but you did
I
something.
had other fun activities, but
Yeah.
no racing.
Could have watched the Indy 500.
Yeah, I could have. You know what's funny?
You done
I taped.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes,
I
you
did.
did,
I
Charlie.
actually did not watch it live. I taped it,
What?
watched a bit of it. I watched. You know what happened? The end got spoiled, like every race. So then I didn't give a fuck. So I watched the last 10 laps, and I was like, "All right, well that's not doing it justice. You know, we got a podcast coming up. I got to watch a little more." So I went back and I just watched, fast forward, and I think I fell asleep 3-4 times during it.
No. Bad.
That's it's 500
I will not
miles.
tolerate Indianapolis 500 slander on this podcast, Charlie.
Yeah. No, I mean I fall asleep having sex, so that doesn't mean anything. It's if it's a good time, it's a good time.
Learning a lot about Charlie today.
But let's talk about karting in the last race. So yeah, did I read this right? You were dragging your ass during the race?
Literally dragging my ass
Fred
when I went out for
Flintstone,
practice.
you blew a hole through the seat, probably because you took a shit.
No. No. All right. The story
It was the
is
chili beans from the
Don't
night
forget,
before.
guys.
It was the fucking chili beans.
So,
All right, let's hear it. What happened?
yeah.
You and
So
your fucking ass.
Thank you. I can't even. So the story is, we get there. I got there on a Friday night, and it's raining already. It's gonna rain Saturday. The cart, I'm still renting this cart from Ray Leonard. Shout out to Ray Leonard. Thank you very much. But I hadn't seen it all week because I had it at a race shop, anticipating my own chassis to come in because
Everyone laughed together. Sorry.
No.
I'm biting my tongue real hard right now.
Anywho.
Still stuck in the Suez Canal, but go ahead. It's buried at the bottom.
Anyway,
On the bottom of the ocean.
the rental cart had my motor on it, so if my chassis showed up, we could do the swap. Never happened. So I picked it up on the Friday before. Hadn't seen it since I last raced it. And I had to throw rain tires on rain rims, which that was a whole debacle, actually, because we have a
Rain
spec
rims?
rain tire this year for the entire club. Every class has a spec rain tire.
And it was, you guys were communicating
Rain
that
rims.
a week in advance.
That's the story
They're
I'm telling.
narrower.
Oh, sorry.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, rain
It's-
tires are narrower.
Why would you want narrower tires? I feel like you'd want wider tires.
No.
All the
wait,
rain
what?
tires are 6.5 inch instead of
What?
7.
Yeah.
Hold on. Correct my ignorance. On a rain tire, I thought you always want narrower. That's always the case.
We have no choice, though.
Yeah, it's just what we go with.
So
I don't.
if you put rain tires on a 7-inch rim, you're gonna get thrown out in tech or what?
You know what? I don't even
You
know.
probably
if,
could do it.
You probably could do it. I think you could do it, and as long as somebody doesn't
Because
notice.
Are the tires themselves narrower? Is that why they do it that way?
Yeah.
Oh,
they're
dude,
different
you know what,
tires.
You could absolutely put those on a 7-inch rim, and you'd probably get better grip out of it.
Yeah, but
Maybe.
you don't really need more rear grip. You need more front grip. Believe it or not.
It's kind of that was my experience during the race too. Is especially later on when it was half wet, half dry, a lot of understeer. All right, so I have to do all this work to get rain. The story is we have a spec rain tire this year for every class. That tire was not available for this race. Whatever tire order the suppliers were supposed to get didn't come through. So I know shipping this year for everything is shitty. So it was a last-minute decision, not last minute, but like the day before decision, to make the rain tire thing open. You could use whatever rain tire you wanted. So like rain tires that people had used
3 rear tires?
You cannot use 3 rear tires, although we do not have a written rule about that yet.
Honestly, you want to get one written? Because that would have been good. That would have been really good in the rain.
That wouldn't fly at our track. That would definitely be within the spirit of the rule book, and Mike would tell us to get bent.
Yeah,
like, not gonna happen.
Yeah. So the rain tire rule thing opens
I'll
up.
one of those things. I'll show up to Smokey Eunuch.
I find rain tires, so does everybody else, but now I got to mount them to rain rims. I didn't even have rain rims. I haven't bought anything for my cart because I didn't have it yet, and I'm now realizing renting this other cart, like I should probably have all the accessories ready to go because I'm going to use them whether or not I have my own machinery. Regardless, I mount the rain tires the night before, and then the next morning I'm still trying to put it all together. I didn't have any, I didn't have a compressor to actually get the tires on the bead. Figured that out the morning of, and then I go out for practice 1, and before I go out for practice 1, there's a big hole in the front of my seat, and I'm like, what? When was that even there? And like it must have just happened during the first race.
Let's define a big hole.
What the
Yeah.
It was a big hole.
Hold on.
Big hole meaning basically where you sit, like the front end there. It was just cracked open. Like, I don't know, like that. Like this is where your ass sits,
How did
and
that
this
happen?
is... I'm guessing it happened in race 1, and I just never noticed it, until we go out to this bumpy as shit track, or at least until I saw it.
This is hilarious already.
And so I got very optimistic with some duct tape, like, this will help. I just duct tape it here and there, we'll be all set. And I go out for the first run. I go out for the first run. My ass is literally on the ground getting hot. I'm like, come on.
No fucking way. Your ball sack's dragging, like as you're just...
Yeah, just ass is dragging, and I'm feeling it, and I'm like, well, I'm not losing speed. I got 5 to 10 minutes to make this practice session worth it. Screw it. I'll risk my ass to actually get some laps. And like the last lap of practice, my chain gets thrown. I'm like, awesome. All right. Having a great start to the day. And come in, and I looked at the thing, and I'm like, I could apply more tape. I'm like, no, it's not going to happen. We can't do more tape. It's just this seat's busted. Luckily, Mr. Rick Brown here had a seat for me to use. It was a slightly smaller seat. However, it actually did fit me better. And I'm going to purchase it from you officially when I see you next.
It was a kid seat, everybody. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Look at me. Yeah.
It pretty much is.
Alex is like, what, 85 pounds soaking wet?
Hey, like...
Dude,
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to bolt
pounds.
so much lead. I'm going to have to put so much lead on his cage clone in March. I'm not looking forward to finding all that lead.
I already have to put like 20 pounds of lead on the cart right now.
That's it?
I know, that's it. I honestly...
thought it was more.
No, it used to be more.
You don't got to lie to kick it, Alex.
What's that?
I was actually surprised that your seat was actually bigger than my seat. I was shocked when I found that out.
That's why there's a hole, because you fucking drilled so many holes into it. It was like Swiss cheese. Remember to put all the weights on it.
No, I don't think that was the reason.
You didn't put weights on the bottom.
No, you don't.
No, but he's ruined the integrity of the seat, It's that cheap plastic China seat.
Anyway, I was looking at the way the seat was mounted, and like the front end of the seat was like basically mounted like this, like it was gonna dig into the ground no matter what. So it was destined to break. And it was just my own fault for using, whatever holes were there when I first installed it and not actually looking at how it was going to fit. So, luckily the seat...
It wasn't the guy's seat? It was your seat?
It was my seat, yeah, because the guy's seat, the original owner's seat would have been too big for me. And I made sure for race 1 that I was going to have a seat that would fit me because that's been my biggest gripe for the last few months, driving other people's carts. So, this seat that was supposed to go into my cart when I got it, already ruined. I'm like, whatever. I can't think about that right now. I just got to get a solution. You gave me the seat, and I threw that in and made sure that like it was flush with like the bottom of the chassis. I was like, there's no way it can drag if it's flush with the bottom of the chassis. Mounted it all up, and it was good for the rest of the day. And interestingly enough, we didn't weigh in all day because it was raining and the scales don't like rain. So I went out for qualifying with no weights. Which
Cheater.
No, I mean everybody runs under the same rules for the day.
Hey, no scales, no weights.
Yeah, I mean why not? Now they did say
I'm
something
sure he
like
wasn't the only one.
No, I couldn't have been. There's no way. So
No. What's
No.
integrity? Afterward, you fuck no scales. Take all this shit off.
Yeah.
I know plenty of guys in outlaw karting that would have done the same thing.
Yeah, exactly. You do what you can do as a competitor. So I did put them on after qualifying because they said something like, well, we might weigh the top 10 at the end of the day or whatever. And that never ended up happening. However, I didn't want to risk it. So, yeah, qualifying goes good. I mean, I didn't feel like I had a really great lap, but I qualified third. I was like, oh, all right, I'll take it. And then my pre-final was pretty cool. I started third, like I said. We got through the bowl and then 1, 2, and 3. And then the double right-hander, I got in the outside of Mark Donato. And I prefer overtaking around the outside versus the inside. I got to tell you.
Yes.
Because
every fucking time.
Yeah, because I kind of feel pinched if I'm on the inside. I feel like I'm not going to be able to really use the entire track because I got to depend on this guy on the outside of me to track out with me and not keep inside as opposed to where I am planning to put myself.
But Alex, the reason I got to disagree with you is because if they want to compete hard, and they don't want to give you the space, they can make you yield because otherwise you're going to go off track. So say they just like
True.
But if you're on the inside, no matter what they do,
you're still on track at the exit of the corner.
They're cooked because you have command of the situation.
Right.
You dictate where they
This
go.
is all true, but in the moment, mentally, I don't believe it. I actually, I mean,
maybe you're just so fast they just don't even know. You're just like,
well, I just feel like around the outside, it's like, all right, I got more track to play with than this guy that I have on the inside, which proved to be true in this moment. We took that double right-hander, and by the time we got out of the second part of it, like we went in, he was probably a quarter nose ahead of me, but then I stayed along his outside the entire time, and then by the exit of the corner, I was ahead. And he kind of gave me like one of these things, and I'm like, well, I mean, I'm racing you, dude. Like, what do you expect? I'm just going to be like, oh, okay, you take it. You know?
that's hilarious.
I was in the back going down the hill into their double right-hander.
Down the hill to the double right-hander. Yep, by the time I got to that second right-hander, we might have been even. Maybe he was a little bit behind, and by the entire exit, I was already
There's
ahead.
no more gentleman way to pass than the outside. How could someone throw their hands up
I
to
know.
that? Like you literally got passed
Because
the outside.
they got schooled. They're pissed they got schooled. That's
because
why
if
they
you
throw
get
their hands
passed
up.
on the outside, that means
Yeah.
you were really slow.
I mean, I doubt Mark's a bad driver. He ends up qualifying in the front
to
a lot of the time.
whoever flagged
And
that
I don't know the guy
shit all
personally. I've
over
never
him.
even talked to the guy, so I don't know. I don't know how he is as
If you could pass on the outside, it means two things. It means one, your shit's fast, and two, you got big balls.
Well, thank you very
Elias
much.
tried that same pass to me. That didn't work out for him, though.
What's this now?
Did he catch a right rear?
No, we actually went through that same turn the same way. Elias tried to pull me on the outside. We went through that double right-hander together. But as soon as we came off, I pinched him off going into the chicane. And as soon as he entered into the chicane, I had him so pinched, I just backed off and crossed him up coming out and said, see you later. It was
Okay. Yep.
You know, it was a good battle, but just having him on the outside, I was like, yeah, no, you're not going to make this chicane very fast. I hate to tell you.
Right.
So,
That chicane
Preston
was
is the better part of valor in that situation.
that chicane was pretty deadly. I gotta say, like,
that chicane f***ing sucks.
No, I can't agree with that. I actually like it. I actually
gotta
like
ask. So hold on, because I've never raced there. Is the curbing in New Hampshire kart friendly or no?
I mean, on the road course, maybe, but there's only one corner that has curbing that we use.
But I don't even mean necessarily that you got to use it. But like at Canaan, you can't touch majority of the curbs.
No, you can't because it's too high.
No, there is no curbing really at
Right, at New Hampshire, it's the opposite
like
problem.
in
Where
the bowl.
Yeah, the bowl is the only place that has curbing. And the problem with the rest of the track is that, like, if you put a wheel off, you're grinding the bottom of your chassis. Yeah.
Wow.
So they actually made a curb coming out of the chicane, like like halfway through the day, and by making a curb, they laid down cones so we would stop driving off the track because we were making ruts.
They used to do that at X1, remember? They used to put cones out indicating, like, please stop driving off the track so bad. You know, remember that? Like over near the drainage.
Oh, the drainage. Yeah, I remember that.
Oh,
they did that at the Daytona Road Course too, in the Busch Clash.
Yeah,
they actually had to put the turtles in the back straight and change the corner.
Yeah, but those things are like huge.
Speaking of that, did iRacing make the update? They are supposed to do that stuff. You know what I mean?
I believe they did. Changes. They just released that Chicago street course. I saw some video of it. It looks very bland.
Yeah, I don't know what the whole reason behind that course is. Why is it a thing? I haven't seen a real race there ever.
Because it's cheaper for them to build a street course than it is for them to keep paying a sanctioning fee to Chicagoland Speedway. Be my guess.
Oh, was this course ever actually raced?
No. They scanned some city streets in Chicago. iRacing did. And they basically built the road course off of that and submitted it to the city. And now there's going to be a race.
Wow.
It's original, yeah. The Windy City 110 racetrack.
Huh.
It's going to be a thing, I think, next year.
Until somebody gets shot by an errant bullet.
Yeah, no shit.
That's right. Hey, if they'll shoot Michael Jordan's dad, they'll shoot you. Sorry.
Definitely a honky race car NASCAR driver.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I love that
You know it's bad when they compare that place to Iraq.
Ooh.
Yeah, what was it? It's Scott Dixon. Was that the guy that was held up at gunpoint in the Indy 500?
At Taco Bell.
In Indy at the Taco Bell. It was him and Dario Franchitti, and he got held up at gunpoint after winning the pole for the race.
You know what's funny?
He went to get Taco Bell for him and his guys.
Those guys must have been buzzed because when they were telling the story, you could just tell the way they acted so calmly. Because think about it. If you got a good buzz on and you're waiting for your freaking taco and you haven't eaten all day, they were just like, yeah, whatever, man. They didn't even give a shit. You know.
I mean, they tell the story like that. You don't know what's happening in the moment, dude.
If I'm buzzed, you guys, chime in if you're going to feel otherwise. I don't think I'd give a shit either. I'd be like, that's funny, man. I'm just getting a taco. I don't have any money. It's like.
You talk a big game. I'm going to have to hire somebody.
It's not about a game. It's about just, you're like, what do you give a shit? He was driving his Acura. I don't know. What was it he was driving? Like.
I don't know what he was driving. I haven't listened to that story in some. Well, I listened to the highlight that came up on Dinner Races recently.
They just
you should talk into the mic when you're talking, dude.
I am. You said 6 inches. What kind of 6 inches are you familiar with? That's 6 inches, bro. Come on.
No, isn't this 6 inches? Pretty sure.
That's what the girls tell you, maybe. But...
Yeah. You're telling me you're lying?
Dude, it's not 6 inches. It's a baby arm, bro. Baby arm.
Yeah. When a girl tells you this is 6 inches, you just run away.
Yeah, she's ruined.
Yeah, and then it sounds like this when you get near her.
Okay.
Yeah.
Our podcast has gone way off track.
Yeah, this is the most raunchy. I don't think I can censor this one anymore. It just can't happen.
You just edit it out. It's gonna look like just.
No edits. Everybody has to see just how shitty this
this,
production really is.
It's like when you watch someone put together like something and they just fast forward through it real quick. James May podcast.
Anyway, we can talk about the rest of the karting weekend. So where were we? I finished second in the pre-final after that move.
Let's go back to your ass dragging on the track. I mean, was that it?
Yeah, I fixed it. I already told you. I replaced the seat.
Did it catch on fire?
No. I didn't actually even tear a hole in the suit, which was kind of neat.
The only other thing that you can tear a hole through your suit is Taco Bell right after you eat that shit. Right out. Anyway.
Got him.
So you ended up in second, so that's terrific.
And then so that means I'd start second for the final, and dude, there was a glimmer of hope that I was going to get around Ricardo in the beginning. And I don't know what it is. I know we have different motors. We're probably running different gear ratios, but like
is this going to be a reoccurring trend? You're going to blame the motor all season long?
I hope not.
Yeah, you must be a Lewis Hamilton fan.
No. Well, I mean, yeah, but I'm not a Lewis Hamilton excuse maker. I don't know.
You literally just blame the motor.
Well, it's kind of. I haven't even like changed a jet on that motor
Slap
yet.
a Red Bull sticker will be faster.
Maybe.
The last 2 races I beat you at last season, you complained about a couple things too.
Oh shit!
Well, what are you? You're not a race car driver if you don't bitch about
That's
the car
true.
when
Who
things
doesn't
don't go right.
complain about something?
You're
right?
not. If you go like,
You know what?
oh,
There's a
it's
difference
all
between
me.
bitching about the
you-
car and being constructive.
I had a lot on my mind that day. I don't know. I was slower than usual. What do you
Right, that
want?
doesn't sound like a race car driver, does it?
Yeah.
It's like, no, man, I swear to God, there was a slow leak in the left rear, and it just
I just want to thank Newport Propane and Michelin for making these tires.
They did a great job today. Thank you for their continued support.
Yeah.
But yeah, so glimmer of hope going into turn 1 that I was going to take him and maybe have a race for first, and I didn't. He just I got a little bit ahead of him in entry, and then he just took the rest of the corner and just said hey, I'll see you later. Damn. And I ran second, and I had Hugh North coming up behind me quite a bit, and we actually got side by side at one point. It was a fun battle to hold second. But it amazes me that Ricciardo doesn't just win. He just disappears. There's plenty of points on the track where we're going one way and you can see cars on the other side of the track coming this way. Didn't see him. I have no idea where he ended up. He was so far ahead that even being able to see the other half of the track, I couldn't even see him. So it's
Alien shit.
It's kind of my goal to figure out how to.
You won't know till you get your chassis and everything blended together.
I mean, sure, yeah, I can.
You won't know where you're really.
I can make more stupid excuses saying that I'm racing a chassis that doesn't fit me. It's made for a tall guy, and I'm running, a motor that I haven't even touched really. I just kind of, it's on the cart, and I go ring ding ding ding, and it starts. I haven't even tuned it yet.
Well, how'd that go?
Ring ding ding.
What else? What about? I mean, were you not even geared right for someone to walk?
Yeah, I'm guessing on the gearing too. I kind of went up a tooth during the day, thinking oh, it's kind of what, and the Micron wasn't showing RPM, so I don't even know what RPMs I'm hitting. I don't even know if I'm at the end of the range or not. Whatever.
Did it say danger to manifold several times?
No, it said nothing because it didn't say. Well, the only thing I had was water temp, and it was actually hard to get water temp during the day because it was so cold. I didn't even use tape. I need to use tape in the future. It's something I didn't think about at the time.
I was surprised how many shifter guys at Newcastle used tape. I didn't realize that was such a big deal.
Yeah,
dude, my shifter. The last time I ran my shifter, I ran the first 3 laps with tape and my arm over the radiator, trying to get it to heat up even enough to run the thing.
I can't believe that a 2-stroke has trouble getting heat in something like that. I mean, I fire my 500 off, and that thing hits probably 150 about lap 2.
Wow.
On a 9-second lap track.
Except for my last race here in October, it was 42 degrees out and no sun. So
should have had
a little different than Southern Cal.
Well, yeah. I mean, what did the high even get to on last weekend?
48, right?
I believe it was 48.
It was really 48 was the high?
Ooh.
That's what I saw on my phone.
Wow.
I don't know.
How do you guys even get the tires hot?
You just
don't.
They don't really.
I mean,
well, actually, in my final, they got hot because I ran wets on a dry track.
But that was the way to go. All right,
guys-
yeah, it is a good talking point to say that
pretty good.
What's this now?
I said, the wet tires probably puckering pretty good then on the dry track, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah,
for sure.
It is worth mentioning that at the end of the day, it wasn't raining anymore, and it got to a point. Basically, I went out right before you guys did, and during my race, still wet. However, the bowl was dry in certain other parts of the track, but there was still enough wet out there to where it wouldn't have warranted slicks.
I have a dumb question.
Yes.
So is it like professional motorsports where if there's some of the track that's wet, the race control or director of competition will declare it a wet start, and you have to start on wet tires?
Yes, actually,
So
I believe
you don't get a choice. You can't gamble on slicks if you want to.
Well, my race you could.
Here's the thing. Yes, so they gave him the option to be either or when the World Formula Karts
And
went
everyone
out.
switched to slicks, and that's why a lot of people got.
No,
they
you
made the
weren't
wrong
there. Stop talking
yeah,
like
well,
you
I'm
were.
going on what I heard through social media, through the other.
What he
Formula
heard.
It was on-
You know how
it was on
telephone
the
works.
You know that other podcast that's a week ahead of us?
It was on the
or whatever?
tweeter and the snatch chat.
Yeah, snatch face. Yeah.
Nah.
So
Snatch book.
yeah, but when you guys went out, you were given the option to either take slicks or go wet still. And you know, I had one friend, the kid who bought my cart. He was like, "I'm going out on slicks," and it seemed like he was dedicated to that. I'm like, "All right, cool." And then Shay Stanley, I should mention, and then Ismar was gonna go out on the slicks as well, and I kind of stopped him. I'm like, man, I don't know. I think I would go for the wets. And Shay heard this conversation, still went on the slicks. Whatever, you want to take your chances, you can go for it. And it kind of did turn out that even during your race, where a lot of the track was now dry, wets were still the good option. And the best example of this was Brett Repke, who didn't he win the pre-final?
Yeah, he was on the pole. He switched to slicks, and he ended up quite a ways back, and he made it back up to fourth by the end because the wets were way faster for the first few laps, and then it just kind of started coming together as the race went on, and that race couldn't end soon enough.
To be in.
Yeah, I'm sure it was an interesting one to be in. But yeah, I mean,
I had
we should add,
I had two dry tires on and two wet tires on at one point on the grid.
The race is only like 12 laps, so I mean,
sure, but it was
14.
14. It was enough time.
I'm gonna keep venting about this, but I wish they were longer. My God.
Me too.
How long is the lap around there?
It's about 50 seconds. I think we were running
for you guys.
Just under a minute.
We were doing
10 minutes
40.
in the car.
We were doing 46s in the road tax.
46s. Yeah.
It's an arrive and drive. Arrive and drives were about 10 minutes usually.
Yeah,
right?
I mean, we truly do get spoiled when we do the Keenan full track races that are like 25 minutes to a half hour. The timed races, those are cool.
The 30 minutes are awesome.
I think 30 minutes should be the norm for a race. That to me is adequate, but
we do get two of them. You get although the pre-final's so small, it's always like half the distance, which sucks. It's like a 3-4 minute
So
race.
wait, what about this? Eliminate the pre-final and just combine it into one big race.
We could do that. I don't even know why we do the final thing anyway. Is
Don't
it
do
just
it.
tradition? Is like that's the way karting works, or is it just?
That's what they've always done. Remember when we went to OVRP though? When we did that, that was awesome.
Yeah, we had to talk to him about that though. It was kind of our own thing where we were like, "Hey man, we all got 5-hour drives home. Can you just, axe our pre-final and let us just do one long final?" And they were like, "Yeah." And yeah, that did end up being fun.
Just makes more sense.
Except for my breakdown.
So wait, what you do is add a few, like another 2 minutes of qualifying time, and then that's your position, and then there's a final race, and that's it. No sprint, whatever they call it. No pre-race.
The Kart Mania, the road course, when we do like the full road course, we don't do a pre-final on that. We just do the qualify. I don't even know if we qualify actually, but we just run a 30-minute race.
Yeah, and it is awesome. It is a real good time, especially because, Canaan, you can get into a flow of things. It's not too many super quick corners, so it's not like you're overwhelmed. Like in my case, like I said, fatigue is usually my biggest problem.
Not there.
Yeah, Canaan, you don't have the fatigue problem because all the corners are really wide.
Like Monza, come on.
It's almost like a Monza for karts. Yeah, the kind of the way it works. So it is awesome. You get into a rhythm.
One hairpin and
I mean, I've done multiple endurance races with the rental karts. Those races are incredible when you can just get into a rhythm. You're in the car for a half hour or more at a time, and you just knocking out lap after lap after lap. It is so satisfying. So yeah, anytime we get close to that in our high performance stuff, it is awesome.
Well, dude, how did it feel in Orlando? I mean, I did back-to-back hour-and-a-half stints at 2 o'clock in the morning. I was in the go-kart for 3 straight hours, and it was just like, it was intense. It was fun, though. It was a blast.
Yeah, that's cool. I
actually passed Jordan Taylor and R.C. Enerson in that stint, and I was like, this is awesome. And then I promptly spun out in front of them like 6 laps later. I was like, well, whatever.
I only ever got passed by the Taylors because our cart was damaged. Look at me again, blaming carts. Hey, whatever.
Well, no, you were blaming teammates at one point.
That just makes you a race car driver.
That's right. Yeah, it wasn't me. It was the cart. It was other teammates. It's the crew. Whatever it is, it's never me. It's never me. You know how it works. See, I mean, Rick, your day was kind of interesting because you did go with the wets for the last race. And then, like, a new kid won and took off. And you guys didn't really have
I don't even know who he was. Don't know anything about that kid. And he smoked me. I'm like, all right.
I do wonder.
Do they check tires, like for dope?
Sometimes they didn't, but
Check
they
'em for
do
what?
sometimes. They'll stick the durometer on them.
Glue or whatever. Or,
Really?
Yeah, softness and stuff. I don't know what kind of wet tires he ran.
Well, they allowed anything.
They allowed anything for this race. Oh, that's annoying. I got my Discord notifications audibly happening.
That's
Yeah, mine have been going off too. It's
So
really
all the
it's fine.
Formula Hooligan
Yeah, it's
fans are all like, "This is awesome, best podcast ever, guys."
we got the Formula Hooligan fans showed up tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
They're all tuning in now. They're getting back home from the bars.
So, yeah, I mean, I know we had an incident in the first practice, and I kind of wonder, because my tires are junk. Whatever wet tires I ran that day, they're gone. They're done. They're awful because of that last run being half wet, half dry. Yeah, I got basically very little tread on them now. And I'm almost wondering if he did have an incident early on to where he didn't do all of practice 1, would it have been enough to actually have more meat on the tire throughout the final for him to benefit? I don't know. It seems a bit like a stretch.
Yeah, it's a stretch in my opinion.
No, I mean, I had enough meat left on my tires too. My car was just not good. It wasn't set up for that. It was set up for I kind of screwed myself. I procrastinated all day thinking it was going to go dry and never changed to an actual wet setup. I just put wet tires on it and said, the track's going to come to me. And then the pre-final happened and I went from 5th to 3rd and I was like kind of in it. And I'm not a rain racer. I hate racing in the rain. So like, I'd rather I just wanted to get out of there with a top 5 for the points and be happy with that. And then I kind of got excited after the pre-final, moving up to 3rd and started making wholesale changes to run in the wet, and then it dried out. I was like,
Jesus.
All right, perfect.
Alex was telling me a little bit about that. You guys have to widen your wheelbase or something like that, and then there's gearing changes. Do you guys mess with air pressure or anything like that too?
Yeah. The theory is you shorten the rear axle as far as it'll go, and you open up the front axle as wide as it'll go, with the idea
so you have
being
the stability of driving a trike, kind of like a
right, but
what are they
also
called?
the front tires take all the water, and then the rear tires follow and don't take on as much water, so you can still have the rear end planted, as opposed to the front end that takes all the slippage. So understeer is definitely a thing during a rain race, and that's why I know you were saying, like, why not put the rain tires on regular rims and have them wider, and you'd have more grip for the rear. Well, you already have plenty of grip for the rear mostly, so it's kind of that's basically
Plus
what we do.
Are you guys allowed to mount weight wherever you want?
Yeah.
I'm surprised more guys don't try and mount weight on the nose of the car in rain races.
You know what? I don't think you can, because I used to have a 10-pound weight at the nose of my car.
They changed it. They told me they don't allow it anymore.
Yeah, and they told me no. They were like, hey, it's good for this race. Next race, make sure it's on the seat.
So maybe you could have got away with it once.
Well, I got away with it for like a year until Paul was like,
so that explains all
can't.
your winning.
No, I won for years after that.
Were you winning while this happened?
And it's a rain race, so there's
Let's take
no weight
away
on
your
the cart
trophies.
anyway.
Cancel them.
No, those are won.
Speaking of that,
Yeah,
Rick doesn't have all his trophies
I don't
today.
agree with throwing the weight rule out for a rain race.
What's
Well,
his
they
name?
don't want to ruin their scale.
Yeah, it's the scale. That's the problem.
We're
not.
I mean, a canopy's $200.
That's a good point.
Yeah.
How about an umbrella?
Yeah.
We had a timing issue. Remember that? The kids went out and they had to stop their race after like 3 or 4 laps because the timing died.
That's what made my race a dry race and your race a semi-dry race.
Right, because we had to wait.
That timing issue, because it was still raining at that point, and I had already wheeled my cart over to you and Rich, and I was like, well, I'm not going back to change it. So here we are.
Yeah.
I got a dumb question for you, though. What was more detrimental to the speed, the wet or the cold? It's got to be the cold, right?
The wet.
No, the wet.
Really?
I'm going to go with
because the wet is directly responsible for being all slippery on the track.
Yeah, but if you got wet tires, I think
it's still slower. What would the cold have anything to do with? It would have anything. It would have something to do with.
It's a 12-lap race. It's a 10-minute long race. The tires aren't going to get up to temp. If it's truly that cold.
Sure. Yep. Yeah, I still would think it's.
I mean, if it's 80 degrees and wet with proper wet tires, I think you'd be better off in that situation than 45 degrees cold.
Sure, but I would still argue that the
you're gonna burn the wets off quicker.
Yeah, I would
80
still
degrees and raining, you'll burn the tires off. But go on, sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need some intermediate tires.
I'll take
Formula One. Do they have intermediate tires?
I'd rather have a 40-degree non-rain day over a 70-degree rainy day.
Ooh,
no
I cannot
thanks.
agree with
I
you.
hate the
Yeah,
rain.
I'm not disappointed
the
that
cold.
the one race I missed so far is a rain race.
I hate the cold, and I actually love the rain. To be honest with you,
Ugh.
it's fun. The bullshit to set up and the bullshit to clean up afterwards is awful. But I got to tell you, the on-track experience, I'm all smiles under the helmet, dude. Just getting, especially in the World Formula when I used to do it, it's like, hey, the rear end comes around now. It's kind of awesome. You have like too much power for the grip. It's awesome. I mean, that's kind of true.
I'm very happy to just keep racing in the dry. As an oval racer growing up, the first rain race I did, I was like, wait, we're not just gonna pack up and come back next weekend? I don't understand. Like, this doesn't make any sense.
Yeah. Kieran, I know you were at the Indy 500 last weekend. Have you had a race yourself since we've last had an episode?
I have not. I actually haven't even spoken to my engine builder yet. I have no idea what condition my engine is in.
Right,
He's had
'cause
it
you
for
blew
about
it up,
2 weeks
right?
now. I blew up, yeah. I as I said in the last episode, common sense did not prevail. I didn't change my jet. I ran a gear that was too short, and I raced the top of the racetrack. Between the three of them, I nuked her. And then the backup motor, I was too conservative with the jetting. I was way too fat, and it never cleared out. So it is what it is. It's like I always say, it's racing, but it's a learning experience every time. I have not. I'm gonna try and get home on Sunday to put eyes on the car and hopefully get her fixed up. I'm now realizing that I forgot to order all the shit that I need to fix it this week. But hey, it is what it is. I got another week. I'll get her thrown together and go racing next weekend, I think.
Nice. Very nice.
Father's Day.
Yes,
there you
sir.
go.
Well, his father wouldn't want
Yeah,
any other
but
way.
dad's in Rhode Island.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Actually,
you're
yeah,
gonna have to
hit
come
him
back,
up. Go to
drive a
X1
Jag or something and blow that one up. Nuke it.
because it worked so
Actually-
well the last time.
You know what's shocking to me is they still build Jaguars. Like the new
Yeah.
X, whatever it's called, is actually pretty sweet looking.
Yeah,
Supercharged
Like
They-
XJ6 or something.
No, so they're getting rid of. I just read an article. They're getting rid of like the 6-cylinder and replacing it with only the V8, supercharged V8.
Really? That's
Good.
backwards from every
I
other
know.
company.
That's why I'm thinking
Yeah.
keep it.
You know what's funny? When I bought my Miata last year, I bought it from a kid that was a recent salesman for I'm gonna blow his whole business here, but only to 60 people. So what does it matter? He was like,
Yeah, there comes the plug.
yeah.
Ding.
He was a recent new salesman for a Jaguar/Land Rover company. He used to work in the as a service guy. And then when COVID hit and people didn't want to come back to work, they were like, "Well, you want to do sales?" And he's like, "All right, yeah." And so I guess he was doing well for himself, but he was funny because he was telling me, he's like, "Dude, I would never sell any of these to my friends." I'm like, "Really?" He's like, "Dude, they come back after 10,000 miles with blown motors and all sorts of problems." I'm like, "What?"
Yeah.
But I
It's
thought
a
Land Rovers
Jaguar.
is supposedly good.
They're the bottom of the JD Power whatever list. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah.
You would actually have an idea
They used
being
to
in
joke.
the what's
Auto
that?
parts business. Yeah.
Yeah.
As I said, they used to joke that when you buy a Jaguar, it comes with a picnic in the trunk
A picnic.
because you're gonna break. Yeah, because you're gonna break down, so you got
Well-
something to do while you're waiting for the tow truck.
Right. Oh, that's hilarious.
But it's a double-edged sword because the aftermarket isn't really up to snuff with Land Rover and Jaguar because there's the VIOs, the vehicle operations. There's not enough of them to warrant producing a
Oh.
part. So what happens is, as a consumer, you have to go to the dealership and buy expensive parts. It's very difficult to go aftermarket. That's the biggest catch.
Oh, interesting. Yeah,
Yeah,
I've never
because-
seen like a decked out Jaguar with all sorts of aftermarket
Yeah,
crap
I
on
mean,
it. So that makes
people
sense.
Yeah, you know why? Because they don't exist.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, there is some, but it's just not as proliferated as like Chevy, Ford. You know what I mean?
Well, yeah.
Or Honda,
or
whatever.
Civics. I mean, there's a
Yeah.
billion different things you
Right.
can
It's
buy
all
for
about making
Civics.
money, and it's just, and also the people that buy them, them. They're rich, and if they're not, they're stupid for buying. I can't stand people that buy like a used Land Rover, Range Rover, Jaguar, you name it, for like 25, 30 grand. They take out a loan. So they're like paying $600 a month, and then they are paying $600 a month in repairs. It's like, idiot.
Yeah.
Like, take that $1,200 and lease one, and then you don't have to worry about it.
Sure.
So
Yeah.
fix it on someone
Never,
else's dime.
If you're hell-bent on having one.
I'll never be hell bent on having a Jag, to be honest with you.
Yeah, no.
Doesn't seem like my
Now,
type
an
of
Aston Martin, on the other hand, let's sit down and
Yeah.
talk about that.
car. Yeah.
Dude, I would love an Aston Martin. You kidding me? I love the new look of all of them. Just it's
Honestly,
very
I
modern.
don't even want the
But-
2009 DBRS and the 2002 V12 Vanquish. I think
The
were the two
Vanquishes
best
are
cars they ever
sexy
made.
to this day, dude. They are cool looking.
And they don't hold value well. You
Even
can
today-
pick them up for under 100 grand. As if
Oh wow, what a bargain!
Well, when Doge goes to the moon, maybe I'll fucking buy one.
Hey, there you go.
Yeah, let's talk about that. So speaking, we plugged Taco Bell here a lot because it was Taco Bell supposedly is accepting Bitcoin right now as a currency.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Very like just
Like-
Bitcoin or any.
I'm not sure. I don't know which ones, but they are. I heard KFC, Taco Bell, and then a few other retailers.
So you can buy whatever you want, and it's like that'll be like $7.95, and it's like here's a 168th of a
Yeah.
Bitcoin.
Yep.
Well, that's the thing. That's the thing is like you start the day and your taco will be worth like 1,000th of a Bitcoin, and by the end of the day, it's worth like 3,000ths of a Bitcoin. So at what point in the day do you go get lunch, right?
Oh, yeah.
I only go
You
get
buy your
tacos on free
taco at the
taco
right
day.
time.
So I don't
Crypto
know.
never sleeps.
That's true. It'd be interesting paying off one of those like guys at gunpoint though, like with a Bitcoin or cryptocurrency.
Okay.
You gotta give them your Bitcoin.
Here you go, man. I swear it's worth a lot of money. Don't kill me. And you're just like, he's looking at it. The do I do with this?
He's like, what the is this?
Go to Taco Bell.
It's the future, man. It's going to the
Taco
moon.
Bell and getting held up sounds familiar.
Shit, yeah. But so what's next? What's going on next? We got Formula One this weekend.
Oh, there's Formula One tomorrow. Yeah.
No, Sunday. Well,
Oh, today's
qualifying.
Friday. Yeah.
I don't know. We got qualifying yet.
NASCAR's at Sonoma.
Yes, that's exciting.
Oh, that's cool.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah.
That'd be a
I'm
good
not
one.
You're not going? Yeah. I like how they do the full road course now at Sonoma. They don't do the NASCAR modified version. I should watch my words because modified means something different. What's that?
I'm amazed they're even holding the race. I mean, because California, what's the date today? The 4th.
Yeah.
We're still 11 days away from when we're supposedly supposed to get the masks canceled.
Oh, no way.
I hate to break it to you, but I heard on the news today, you guys are wearing a mask till the end of October.
I haven't been wearing a mask since this shit started. Even when I was
Oh,
in
man.
Indy, dude. They required, so they said online, like, oh, masks are going to be required. So you go and you hand the yellow shirt your ticket, and he goes, boop, you're good to go. Thanks for coming. You get through the gate, and I walk in with my dad, and I look around. There's not one motherfucker wearing a mask. I was like,
Yeah.
this thing. I pulled that thing off faster than I pulled a tear off on a heavy street.
Yeah, I like it.
Faster than a tear on. That's hilarious.
Yeah.
Where
Um,
is Sonoma, by the way? Where's
Can we
Sonoma?
do this?
What's that?
Sonoma's about, I want to say it's like maybe 45 minutes to an hour, a rough end from San Francisco on the north end.
Oh, wow.
okay.
Okay. So
Yeah.
it's
So
way
it's up there, yeah.
Yeah, it's like an hour west of Sacramento, for reference. But it's up in the Bay Area, and it's actually a really pretty racetrack when it's literally any month but June. Like I've been there when it's
Wait, why is that?
and because it's
Too
not
hot.
it's the way the hills are in wine country. When when the summer months get hot, the area dries out
And it's on fire, and it's just
can't-
not very
they can't-
pleasant.
They can't keep it green. Yeah.
Right, I've
You
seen
hear about all these
every time
wildfires that drive
NASCAR
out here.
Yeah, every time NASCAR goes there, the track is always like a desert color. And then I've seen videos of racing happening there otherwise, and it's green. I'm like, is this the same track? But I guess
Amazing.
yeah, it's kind of crazy to see that.
Yeah, they actually have I think the track they own a flock of goats. And
Flock of
instead
goats?
Of paying a landscaper.
I don't think it's a flock.
Whatever.
A herd.
Whatever you want to call it.
More than one of goats.
Gaggle.
Yeah. So they own a herd of goats. goats, and basically, rather than pay a landscaper, they just let the goats go do their thing.
Oh, hey, that's a one way to do it.
That's right. I've seen them. Yeah, I've seen them doing it. It was wild. I was like, shit. I guess that's better than a lawnmower. It'll never break down, and it'll never quit cutting grass.
Right.
Yeah, and they'll all follow each other. Sorry.
Yeah. Literally.
Sheep.
It's great. There's actually a company up here that does that. They like bring them to commercial like places. One of the solar fields down the street from my house, they have goats to go. They drop off like fucking 80 goats, and they're all in there just eating the grass.
They'll all keep their masks on at the same time.
Can I buy stock in that? Like, that's a great company.
I think that's been. I feel like that's been done. I really do. I feel like that was Shark Tank season 2. Get a bunch of flock of sheep.
Race car in my shop.
So wait, how far are you? Whereabouts are you again living? You're how far from there?
You're
south of that.
I
right?
live in Chico, California. No, well, right now I am. Yeah, I'm in Santa Cruz, and I'm basically like, as the crow flies, it's probably about 2 hours, probably closer to 2.5 driving.
Dude, wait, you're in Santa Cruz?
I'd have to go through. I'm in Santa Cruz. Yeah, I've been working in Santa Cruz for the last 6 months or so. And basically, I live down here 6 days a week, and if I get lucky, I have to take off early on Saturday and try to make it to the racetrack in time to qualify my race car.
Right.
I have a great team, Ed Brown Trucking Motorsports, and my teammate Garrett Brown does a great job keeping my car in one piece during the week.
Nice.
As much as I would love to be spending the time on it myself, it just isn't possible. So
I'm sure many
basically,
beers
we
are
usually
bought
go
for
race
him,
on
correct?
Saturday nights, and then Sundays we'll go to the shop, we'll wash them off, and we'll talk about the way tonight went. And I started working on his car back in October when we started racing Red Bluff together, and we've just been clicking ever since.
Awesome.
It's been a lot of fun with those guys. We're going to get ready here, I think in 2 months, just about, August 8th and 9th. We have a race in Knoxville, Iowa, preceding the 410 Nationals. So basically we're going to go to Iowa in August, and we're going to have a damn good time.
Preceding the 410s, no way.
Yeah, hey, honestly, like, as race fans, that is one you guys, all three of you, need to put it on your list. The 410 Sprint Car Nationals at Knoxville. It is unbelievable how much fun it is, and the quality of the race you get to see, and just the way that place gets energized. I mean, we talked about the way that Indianapolis was vibing, and I've never seen Indy blow up like that. And Knoxville doesn't match that. I will say that much as far as the vibe goes, but it comes pretty close. They got a lot of really passionate people out there, and I mean, it's the heart of sprint car country. You don't find more passionate race car fans than sprint car people, and it's one of those things you really just got to go experience. I mean, there's the Dingus Lounge, the Turn 3 crowd, sitting in the grandstands, the energy, the last couple laps of the race. I mean, you got to do it.
You know what I realized we need in karting? Is fans. We need fans. That'd be cool. We need some grandstands.
It does kind of suck that every venue we go to doesn't have like grandstand. I mean, you can spectate decently at New Hampshire Motor Speedway and kind of sort of at Canaan, but yeah, we don't really have like the most awesome spectator areas, and we're under the mercy of the track owners, though. It's not like we have any control over any of that type of stuff. I'm really even surprised that we got that little bitty strip paved for us to eliminate the hairpin that we used to have. Like, we did that. It was like, wow, that's kind of nuts.
Yeah, we're lucky.
We're very lucky.
You guys are so lucky that you did it for yourselves.
Yeah, we've got this little tiny strip of pavement in between this shitty, bumpy, crappy track that we all try to race on. That thing's horrible. I hate that track. Sorry.
And that's like the one, it's like that one break during the track that you get. It's like, oh yes,
yeah.
It's smooth
for like 12 feet.
Yeah, that's true.
That's awesome.
You know what? X1 was the track that could have done that, man, and they never capitalized on it. It's awful. They
mismanaged in so many ways.
Yeah.
Because all they wanted to do was get us out so they could rent go-karts.
Yeah.
Go spend the day racing go-karts and get booted out.
Yeah, get the out. We got people paying.
Exactly. That track would have been fine with you showing up and being like, hey, give me your money. Are you leaving? That's fine. I don't care. Get the out of here. We can get our rental carts in here and we can make even more money. That's what they were all about.
Can we throw the rental carts out there yet?
The last Ironman that I did there, I broke my... First of all, I go there on practice on Saturday, And I didn't normally race there because it's a bad commute for me. So I only race there a handful of times a year. So I go there on a Saturday to practice the day before their big Ironman race.
Yep.
And I get told that we're racing a different configuration of the track than we're going to race on the race. I'm like, why would you do that the day before? So whatever, I go down, I break my seat in practice at the end of the day, so I want to change my seat.
Yeah.
And they threw me out of the parking lot at like 2:30 in the afternoon. They're like, you have to go.
What?
I'm like, can
Wait.
I change my seat? Yeah, they threw us out of the parking lot.
Wow.
Why?
Because they wanted to get us out so the rental people could come in.
When was the session
Probably
supposed
me.
to end? Did it already end, but you were just hanging out to change your shit?
Yeah, I was just trying to change my seat before I drove home because I was going to leave the trailer there.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't have to drive home with it in the morning, drive the home and then back.
Yep.
I had to take all my shit with me because they wouldn't let me change my seat.
Oh my god.
Not a real racetrack.
No, it was horrible.
Dude,
Wow.
here's
It was a real racetrack owned by idiots. Or idiot.
I don't know,
Yeah.
dude. The thing is like it was the best example of a purpose-built go-kart track in New England. But it was just managed by people who just wanted the money.
You say was.
I do say
it's
was.
gone.
It's gone.
X1's gone.
Yeah.
Bulldoze gone. Sign
Yeah,
up.
they're going to bulldozer that shit probably by the next podcast.
So it's been speculation for a while now, and X1 was basically confirmed to be gone. X1 Boston was basically confirmed to be gone months ago, like at the beginning of the year. It's going to be a distribution center for who? I don't know. Could be Amazon, whatever. And
are we talking the indoor one?
I hope it becomes a dildo facility because that's really what that's about
because
appropriate.
it's enough people.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
why break the trend?
Right. Exactly. And then put a track map on it too, or track map. I can't talk.
All right. So regardless, it was all known that the indoor place is gone. That sucks. It's whatever.
That's too bad.
But the outdoor track was always just kind of up in the air, and I heard over the last few weeks speculation. I think you had talked.
Luxury condos coming in soon,
It could
right?
be. I don't know, but I got confirmation a few days ago from a very good source with a picture of some documentation that 99.99999 confirms that it's gone. It's the outdoor track is no longer going to be. The documentation I saw didn't suggest that it was just changing hands and ownership. Rather, it was no longer, with no options of their current employees changing over to other, employers or anything like that.
No.
So
that's a thanks for playing situation.
And it just sucks, dude. It really goes up my ass the wrong way because like other karting companies and other karting tracks came back during the pandemic. I mean, the only other one I know of failing is Ocala out in Florida.
But hold on,
for some
Alex.
reason they also dived and they're no longer a
Karting
thing.
should have exploded during the pandemic.
But you guys are you're missing the boat though.
Cycling did.
X1 was dying previous to this.
Sure.
Because it was mismanaged
It
for
was dying
years.
a
We
slow
knew
death.
it was going away. It just
No, we didn't. No, we
Hold on,
never.
The pandemic just sped it up by 5 years. That's all. It was going to be gone 3 to 5
Maybe
years.
so.
It really is a shame though, with as many people that are as involved with that place that go there and actually do enjoy it. As someone that didn't get to actually enjoy the outdoor track, it sucks that nobody stepped up and tried to buy it.
They did.
You
They
know,
did. That's
No,
the
they
whole
did.
fucking
They
point,
did.
dude. That's the whole.
But the reality is it's worth at least 10 plus
Wait,
million.
So they didn't
They didn't
sell
get
it?
the offer.
What's
Didn't get
this?
the offer.
He didn't want to sell it to
They're
other
bringing
people
it
to own it
back.
as a track, dude.
They're
Because
bringing
you know
it
why? Nobody knows. Well, I don't know personally what it's going to become. However, the speculation has always been like, oh, this guy could make a fucking killing selling this place for housing because it is in prime housing area. And so...
Yeah, the housing market's completely blown up since COVID, too.
Yeah, it's such bullshit.
So the dude is going to make insane money by doing this. But, like, he's already a millionaire. He made his fucking fortune off of Jiffy Lube, quick oil change places. It's like... I don't know. I think anybody that owns a racetrack is doing it and kind of... I don't know of how you sustain a racetrack. And
a
actually
racetrack
break
is a
even every year.
church. You can't just blow up a church because you want to. So I don't think you should be able to blow up a racetrack because you want to.
Okay.
I thought
I'm
it made
not sure.
sense in my mind.
Yeah, that.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
No.
what the you can't do.
What I was
Anyway.
getting to is that I don't know how you make a racetrack make money or break even. It just kind of seems like if you own a racetrack, at least
for
karting
passion,
tracks,
yeah.
it's something that some rich guy owns that has a passion for it, and he'll square off with his employees and whatnot. But I
Kinda
bet
like the
you
guy
lose
that
money
started
every year.
Chicken.
At least the way I think of it. I don't know. Maybe
So,
with your. Go ahead.
I was going to say, California, I mean, outlaw kart racing's a little different because we do actually get, to a degree, we get fans.
Right.
Not a whole lot, but we
Right.
do. We have grandstands. People show up because dirt racing on an oval is cool.
And you sell beer,
Right.
I bet.
No, we don't
What?
actually. That is coming. I know. It's a sacrilege.
They don't sell beer and they have grandstands? Holy shit.
We have grandstand. Well, so at Red Bluff, for the longest time, the guy that owned it he was a very churchy guy, and he did not agree with any alcohol consumption at all. And I actually got banned for life from Red Bluff at one point.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Banned for life?
This is a true story. I got banned for life from Red Bluff at the very end of, I wanna
smuggling
say it
in
was
alcohol?
2018, 2019 season. So it was the last race of the night of the last points race, and sue me. I'm walking around. I walked into the hot pit area. I wasn't even in the racetrack building. I had a red Solo cup with beer in it,
Yeah.
and they banned me for life. Couldn't go to West Coast Nationals. Broke my heart. And then he sold the joint 6 months later, and all of the bands got thrown out. And on
good.
race one, there I was. Back
Nice.
in the mix. Yeah, it was fine.
Nice. Very nice.
But yeah, it's beer. I think that beer at a racetrack, especially a dirt track, it should be, as long as the drivers aren't drinking it, it should be a fixture.
That's
mean,
how
that's-
you make money.
What goes better together than racetracks and race cars and beer?
I know. It's quite the combination.
No.
That's
It's
X1 Boston, when they first opened, they made a killing because they had a vibrant bar. But they abandoned the bar thing. They didn't put any money into it. They never promoted it. And then it just, how do you expect a business to make money if you don't? The food was actually good too.
Yeah, food was very good. I liked the restaurant.
And it's a good atmosphere.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ascari, right?
Yeah, Sky Restaurant.
It's actually, I remember telling
Yeah.
you, I knew it was gone when they removed Astari off the highway exit sign. Used to say, like, exit here for.
Oh. Yeah,
Because you could go in and just go to the restaurant, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, the way I see it, dude, is like, yes, they weren't promoting anything besides like the sign you would
Corporate
see.
events, that was it.
Corporate events, they would put
Team
a lot on.
building exercises.
They
come
used
here.
to they used to make a lot of money because they had a big conference room, like a big. I wouldn't even call it a conference room. It was kind of like an events room, and they used to have mediums there quite often. That used to be very
that
funny.
too? No way.
Yeah, because we would go there for our Friday night pro league races, and then there would just be like a whole group of people going into the event room, and it was like, what's going on in there? Oh, they got
Saw
a
a
medium.
ghost.
Yeah, exactly. That's meetings
or mediums?
medium, the people who see ghosts and talk to them and shit.
Oh, so that's okay. I was worried that's what you said. All right, go on.
Yeah.
There's gonna be some
Yeah.
random karting.
But I
ghosts in
can
there
see
now.
why you do that if you're drawing in crowds to make money to keep the rest of it going. You know what I mean? But over
Take whoever you can get.
over the last 5 years that I was going there, and like
Could have done comedians. They never did that.
they just didn't capitalize. Now, I started racing there 10 years ago in 2011, and I would talk to guys who had raced there previously. And even back then, they were saying, oh, this place used to be much more hopping. They would have, bands and stuff play. And I was like, wow, it's kind of crazy. I'd never seen a band play there.
I remember
the
when the
entire time.
place opened, dude. So,
Wow.
yeah.
Yeah, it just... I think it was I think in this situation, it was a thing where just the owner, had his racing knack. He's like, why not open a kart track? He did it, and maybe it was sustainable for a little bit, but then lost money on it the whole time. But, it. The guy's a rich millionaire. I mean, he can still make his money. And I think what happened is once COVID came along, it was just kind of the reason to be like, nah, what if
It's
I
an
didn't have this
excuse.
kart track anymore?
It
And
takes
sold
the
it for
blame
more
off of
millions.
him,
And
yeah.
That's my theory. And like Charles was saying, it was dying before the pandemic. And when all the other kart tracks reopened as soon as they could and started doing amazing and making more money, you didn't hear a goddamn word about F1 or X1 since March of 2020. They closed down. They never advertised anything about opening back up. They never even hinted at it. It was never like, oh, phase 1 is coming through. We can do nothing.
Yeah, and it was bullshit. Like, we're just concerned about your safety. We're just not going to open yet, but we will eventually. Liars!
I didn't even hear the open eventually bits, dude. That's what I'm saying. There was no hint. So that's the way I see it. I could be absolutely wrong, but just knowing the owner's history and the way that he likes money and just...
Well, he's going to die. I mean, what the hell? You can't take the money with you. Leave the karting track. The karting track, hence, like a church, could be there forever, serving its,
its purpose. Now your church analogy makes more sense.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, so as much as we bitch about the management, as much as we bitch about being shoved out of the track, and stuff like that, it is a
business.
It was the best purpose-built go-kart track in the region, and now it's no longer. Yes. Now we only have Club Motorsports' little test track that they have for go-karts, which at the moment really isn't built for the infrastructure to have hundreds of people show up and race at it on a weekend and have a full grid. And even if we did get on track, dude, the track itself is so small and tight, it'd be kind of miserable trying to racing around it. It would be like a little Martinsville, a little Bristol kind of.
Can't race there.
Yeah.
So, not to be ending on such a gloomy note, but like, what happens though when like all ice and fossil fuel motors are kind of gone? Flash forward 10 years from now, how is karting going to even exist?
There's electric karts coming up.
Yeah, but
Two words. Alta Motors. Look it up.
Alta Motors. Okay.
Is that a company? Or is it what is it?
ALTA, yeah. So they basically, I looked these guys up a few years ago when I was looking for alternatives. I mean, it's like I said in the last episode, I'm kind of the Smokey eunuch of the dirt racing stuff sometimes. Yep. So I'm always looking for some kind of goofy, unfair advantage. And I researched this motor that someone told me about, and basically, I guess this Alta motor, it's got an electric motor output. It goes in a dirt bike. And it hauls ass on it. It hauls ass on dirt.
Yeah.
And I was thinking, if you could figure out a way to get around the weight deficit from having the batteries,
right?
It'd probably be really good on an outlaw kart. I mean, because you got torque like that. Electric motors, it's stupid.
They're
just I mean, they may not have top end, but they've got torque.
Oh yes, they do.
Torque is what gets you off the
So
car.
are you talking a hybrid? Is that basically what you're talking about?
No, I'm talking.
Oh, you mean
electric.
Straight electric? Okay.
I am not an advocate of electric motors. I'd rather spend way too much money to buy a 4-stroke for my car than I would buy an Alta motor. But that being said, I'd like to see how one does. I do.
Yeah,
I've driven electric karts though. They're boring. They're very on-off. Even braking, accelerating, everything is so.
Yeah, you've driven electric karts made for the public. You don't know an electric kart for high performance.
Right, I get what you're saying. You could tune it. It's like when they got rid of hydraulic steering and went electric, and they tuned it. Or electric brakes, you know what I mean? You could tune everything through software.
So there are examples of our versions of karts that are now coming out with electric motors. It's just starting now, and I've seen one going around a track in a like a Rotax senior group doing the same speeds. The problem is the longevity. I don't know how long you can make that battery last.
What's the feel like when you're on the edge?
Well, instant power. I mean,
Yeah, but
remember we were talking
speed.
in a previous episode about how when I drive my Rotax, it's kind of funny. You can give it half throttle in slow speed corners, and you have more get up than you do giving it full throttle. You don't have any of that crap with an electric motor. It's just straight power all the time when you want it until the battery dies. And I talked. What's this now?
It's fly by wire.
Yeah.
So it's not like your gas stuff has got the cable, whereas fly by wire it's all electric.
Right. So I have a buddy that works at K1 Karting in Wilmington, and we were having this discussion with a bunch of people over Discord about this exact same thing. And he's like, the electric power is really cool. He shot me those links of those karts going around, and he said the problem is longevity. He's like, we have 4 car batteries that hook up to our current karts, and they only last 5 minutes. 5 minutes. That's all you get out of it. So that's the issue.
Well, at least on max power, and a lot of it depends. Because I used to do that too. I was a mechanic for K1 Speed in Sacramento for about a year, and the biggest thing that I had to gripe about those electric cars is with those 4-car batteries. One car battery it's a 2-hander to pick it up.
Right, exactly.
So you got 4
exactly.
of them on there,
And it just the weight distribution's all gooned up, and you don't have the bite in the front end like you need. You're rolling into the corner and hoping you don't roll over on whatever the outside front tire is. It's just tricky. We had to do a lot of goofy stuff with the caster to try and get them to turn.
Yeah.
They're not. The technology was not there at the time. It may not be there now. Maybe it is. I could be wrong. But it wasn't ideal at the time to build a performance, arrive and drive racing experience with it.
Right. So imagine trying to get something that goes as fast as a Rotax work as well in a high performance setting.
And honestly, I'm sorry, there's nothing detrimental to the environment with these lawnmower engines. There just isn't.
I never know.
No, there's actually. I would argue there's more detrimental to the environment with a battery-powered car.
There 100% is. 100%.
Carbon shit goes into replacing these batteries. They don't last forever.
Nope.
No.
But hey, no one's gonna.
$50, I can buy another piston for my gas engine. Good to go.
Yep. Right. Yeah, there is that argument. When it comes to environmental stuff like that, I don't try to pretend like I know anything because I really don't. I don't know what goes into anything that goes on with energy.
I've seen the movie Blood Diamond, and if it's anything like that, mining the batteries, then shit, I don't want anything to do with it.
Right, yeah. So people do argue with the car batteries for electric cars, like it is a horrible process to mine the lithium, whatever they use to make those batteries, and how much is it worth?
Oh yeah.
Doing
but
that
there's
versus
no emissions.
Right, but there's
no emissions yet. All the
yes.
equipment mining it is all gas powered, fossil fueled, and everything else.
And then when you plug it into
how do you think
wall,
you charge up your electric car?
Right. It's
nuclear
like
gas,
Tesla
whatever.
Charger banks that run off of diesel generators. It's like, what
right.
the f*** are we doing here, guys?
Right. Yeah. There's all those arguments.
It's all optics. It appears to be more cleanly because nothing's coming out of the tailpipe. But
or the non-existent tailpipe.
Yeah.
So the future of karting, well, I mean, I think it's gonna keep doing what it's doing right now.
Hey guys, the future of it is sitting right here.
No, it's not. Shut your fucking mouth.
It's an Olympic sport.
No, it's
yes, it is.
It's part of the virtual Olympics.
I don't want that to be that way, but I hate to say it. Eventually, the end game for motorsports.
Only if real motorsports fails. Only if real motorsports fails.
It will fail. No one's gonna watch ever. No one's ever gonna watch Formula E. Ever. It's never gonna happen.
There is a following though.
Oh yeah, okay, 30 people.
I tried. It's terrible.
Yeah, I tried too, and I don't like it. But I got friends. That we race with, dude.
What racing series do you know of that you need 2 cars to run a full?
Not anymore. No, they got better than that.
Go on, I'll wait.
Right. They did get better. The second gen car can last a whole race. Yes.
But you still have to manage the battery.
You do. And fan boost is the biggest bullshit I've ever heard of in any type of motorsport whatsoever. You guys know what that is?
Yes, it is. No.
That is.
I saw that. That's
I think it's if you don't bump anybody within 2 minutes, you get extra boost. No, wait, that's K1 or something.
Dude, it's like playing an RC Pro-Am on Nintendo.
You made it funny.
Yeah, don't touch the guy in front of you and you get more boost.
Fan boost is they pick 3 drivers during the race that get voted by fans. Basically, it's a popularity contest. Whoever wins it gets more boost.
Well, it would never be Lewis, so that might be pretty good.
It's probably the same 3 guys every time too.
I don't know. Even if they randomize it, why do the fans have any input about performance?
It's a way
dumb.
you build your fan
It's a
base.
show. It's
Think
a
about
farce. It's not a race. It's a farce.
It's a farce.
Yeah.
And then the whole I don't know what they call it, but if you run on the outside line of certain corners, you get extra boost in the next straightaway and stuff like that.
That's awesome. So you literally, it's like Forza. You drive over coins, virtual coins, like in kart.
Yeah, it's video game.
You just drive right over it. You pick up a turbocharger or whatever.
And then the fact that the cars go by and they sound like.
They don't sound like anything. It's like listening to Parnelli Jones's turbine.
It's like a wet queef every time it passes by the start finish.
Alrighty.
All right.
Yeah, we should probably. Rick looks like he's gonna fall asleep.
I gotta take a pee. I'm drunk. I'm Charlie.
I'm Alex. You guys are.
That Formula Hooligan podcast. All right. We'll see you guys next time.
Thanks.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you for
yes. Thanks for joining us once again, guys. Appreciate your company and
yeah, that was great.
We'll see you guys in the next episode. Goodbye.
Go IndyCar.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.